Okay, Emmy fans, what a drama for drama actor. Billy Porter's just pulled ahead of Bob Odenkirk and Jason Bateman. What does that mean for who's really going to win? I'm here with Daniel Montgomery, Joyce Eng, Marcus Dixon of Gold Derby. I'm Tom O'Neill. I'm the editor. And I'm just going to say to you guys first, I told you so. I've had Billy Porter out front to win this thing for a while now. He is the Joel McRae, the Joel Gray of the he won for the equivalent MC role in Cabaret at the Oscars. So, I think he's the man of the hour. Who wants to tackle this topic?
Well, I'm sort of torn in this category. I might move Billy Porter up. I think I have Bob Odenkirk. Like as soon as the prediction center open, I think I just put Bob Odenkirk in there because I had him on top during the nominations. The more I think about it, though, the more Billy Porter makes sense because Pose. I mean, all of these shows, the eligible seasons aired a year ago, pretty much. But Pose came back during Emmy voting for season 2, and he's been really prominent this year. He had the big Oscar dress moments, the tuxedo gown moment. He was in Taylor Swift's video for gay rights. You Need to Calm Down. He feels like the man of the moment in that way. So. I'm tempted to move him up. It's hard to tell because, Pose did reasonably well in the nominations, but he's the only actor who got in.
That's because Game of Thrones took up everything.
Yeah, Game of Thrones took up everything, but Game of Thrones doesn't usually win acting awards. That makes it really hard to figure out.
Well, who's predicting Kit Harington?
Yeah, I'm not predicting Kit Harington to win. I don't think they're going to go there. They might. I mean, who knows? But yeah, I think it's that three-way race: Porter, Odenkirk, and Bateman. If they remember Ozark and Better Call Saul, then maybe. But otherwise, it could be Porter.
Yeah, and Pose season 2 is, I think, wrapping up just when final voting starts in August. So if he has something like big and splashy, there's going to be a lot of coverage for the finale, so that could help him too. If people are just watching and it's like, oh, Billy Porter, he's the only Pose actor I can vote for. Like, there you go. And another interesting thing about this race is the past 8 years, the winners have come from either a first year show or a final year show. And only 2 people fit that mold this year, and that's Kit and Billy. So if you want to choose one of them to keep that streak going, I would choose Billy. But I too also have Bob at number 1 just because I want Better Call Saul to win an Emmy.
That's a terrible reason, Joy.
I'll probably switch him eventually because I did that 2 years ago, even though I knew Sterling was winning. But I switched to Sterling right before because I knew that was happening. But last year I put Matthew Rhys at number 1 right after nomination because I was like, everyone else is going to vote split and he could win this, and he did. So
nobody's bigger than Billy Porter right now. I mean, we did an Emmy host poll, who should host the Emmys, and Billy Porter got a ton of votes. So there is such love for this guy out there. And, some of these boneheaded Emmy voters may think that he's eligible for the season airing now, and that's definitely...
Of course, a lot of them do, of course, yeah.
Yeah. And, even though Ozark did air basically a year ago, some of these voters are just watching it now. And the way Netflix, produces or streams their content is different than anything else. So it's hard to say, oh, it aired a year ago. Some of them are still watching it, as we speak.
Bateman has been leading our predictions for a while. There was a time when Odenkirk, he may still be, I have to look at the experts' prediction, was ahead. But what's Joyce, go back to you for a second. What's your best argument for a Jason Bateman win?
We know actors like that show because
he won
Ozark,
SAG, right?
Yeah, he won SAG, and Ozark got 4 nominations at SAG. He made it in last year. It got 2 directing spots last year. He retained his directing slot this year. And he's, everyone knows and has worked with, Jason Bateman, for the past 30 something years. So he feels like he's kind of due for a win, but I could also see this kind of being like a Kevin Spacey situation for him, where he obviously never won for House of Cards and won't ever, but he won 2 SAG awards, but then never translated to an Emmy win because the first time he won, John Hamm finally won the Emmy. And then the second time he was overtaken by Rami Malek. And I could see this kind of being Billy Porter being the Rami Malek, the first year guy. from like this hot new show winning the Emmy over this veteran that you might think was ahead just because of SAG won.
What is, Daniel, what is your best case for Odenkirk?
Best case for Odenkirk is that they like Better Call Saul consistently. They've nominated him every year. And he's overdue. He's overdue for this. He does have an Emmy for variety writing from a couple decades ago, but he's never won for acting. And he's been playing this role since Breaking Bad. So he's has all those years of being due. It's just a matter of, is there still enough attention around Better Call Saul? Is there enough awareness that Bob Odenkirk hasn't won an Emmy for acting? Or even if there is does he have that sort of strong sense of it's time for us to give him this award? I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, they just feel content to nominate that show because it's never won anything.
Yeah, they nominate, that and poor Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt in the comedy races. They might go without ever winning an Emmy.
The funny thing is, Better Call Saul in season 4, it doubled its acting nominations. It got in Giancarlo Esposito and it got in Michael McKean.
But not poor Rhea Seehorn.
That's a crime, if you ask me. But the one actor here who stands out to me is Jason Bateman, because he's essentially playing the Bryan Cranston role from Breaking Bad. Like, he's doing all this bad stuff. He keeps getting deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole, all to protect his family. I mean, yeah, he didn't win last year, but sometimes they're a year behind. I'm going with Jason to win.
What? You're going for Jason to win, really? Okay.
Absolutely. It's not even a category where I'm questioning it.
You just gave a very compelling argument for Billy Porter 2 minutes ago. I just have to ask you, Marcus, in that moment you were giving us your Billy Porter argument, did you believe that was that your prediction and you've just changed now? Or
no, I've had Jason Bateman since he won the SAG.
I think, Jason is the safe choice because he has won something. And, like Richard Madden is not here because he won the Globe, but that's also not industry. Jason, I think, is the safe choice.
Well, here's my best case for Jason / Odenkirk, either one of them, and that is they are perceived as actors, as real working day actors. This is a peer group award. Actors and casting agents, etc., are voting on the acting award. I'm not sure they view Billy Porter in the same light or kind of in that snob.
He's a Tony winner.
That's true. That's a good point. That said, this is as more of a popular vote swing lately, and Billy is the man of the hour, as Daniel was saying. But also, he did deliver a spectacular performance on this show.
And Jason Bateman, he's a movie star too. Jason is.
Oh, good point. Okay.
But I could also see Jason Bateman and Bob Odenkirk splitting some of the vote. I mean, not that they're on the same show, but they're both kind of like anti-hero dramas, although Better Call Saul skews a little bit lighter at times in terms of the tone of the character is more comic at times. But like I can see them attracting a similar member of the TV Academy for votes, where Pose is going to be something else entirely. That's going to have its own fan base that's going to rally around him. And I think Joyce made a good point when she said that the snubs of the other actors from Pose might actually be kind of a secret advantage, because if a member of the actors branch wants to vote for Pose, they've got one shot, and it's best drama actor. So if there's a lot of rallying around Pose, and that show does have a lot of rooting factor, then it could all be concentrated on Billy Porter.
There's all this excessive Game of Thrones love, especially now in its final season. Are we just not picking Kit Harington because the last time we did, we got burnt? So
I just don't think. I mean, I don't think it matters since it got 32 nominations, but I don't think he did much this season. Like, he didn't have much to do, and then I mean, like, you could argue that if they're just gonna check it straight down the ballot, that he could get swept up in it. But I feel like, and also he's not against any co-star like some of his other co-stars in other categories and supporting. But I feel like like there are other, like the other competitors he's against have too much going for them for him to overcome that even in a sweep. And we know, like, based on the past 7 years or 7 seasons they've competed, like they've only ever given an acting Emmy to Peter Dinklage.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Now we have Marcus, you're a real This Is Us fan and viewer. We have Milo versus Sterling again. Sterling has been a favorite in the category before. Is this a case now that we're giving up on him because the vote could split or his ship has passed? Why no Sterling votes here?
They both had exceptional storylines this season. Like Sterling had the whole possible breakup with his wife, and Milo had the whole Vietnam story. And if just one of them was in, I think they would have an okay shot. But the fact that both are in, and to me, neither one stood out this year. This is like a classic vote split situation where both guys are going to get votes, and that's going to hurt both of them. And kind of.
But I do feel like fans liked like Milo's storyline more because it went into his Vietnam War background, whereas I know there was a lot of backlash towards like Randall's, running for councilman or whatever in Philadelphia and like his drama with that. So I think if there is like any advantage between them, I do agree like they might probably just split the vote. I think it would be more in Milo's favor.
Yeah, they're
that
both.
Would be interesting. That would feel like a very Barry Pepper moment, where if Milo ends up winning the Emmy out of the two of them.
Explain what you mean with the Barry Pepper.
Well, famously, a few years ago for the miniseries The Kennedys, he and Greg Kinnear were both nominated. Greg Kinnear played JFK, obviously the most prominent Kennedy in the cast, and Barry Pepper was also nominated as a lead actor for playing Robert Kennedy, I believe. And so I don't think everyone was predicting that Greg Kinnear would win, but if anyone was predicting that the Kennedys would win, they were predicting Greg Kinnear, and it ended up being Barry Pepper. I think that's one of the most. That's up there with Ben Mendelsohn's Ghost as one of the most.
and like Ben Mendelsohn, he wasn't there.
Yeah, one of the most inexplicably and not inexplicable in the sense that it was a bad performance, but in the sense I don't know how the voters got there from where we thought they were going to be. So yeah, that would be a Milo case. I actually think it's more plausible for Milo than it was for Barry Pepper.
Oh wow! Let's explain what we're talking about with the Ben Mendelsohn situation. That was I guess now 2 years ago, right? With three, I guess. And Kit was nominated in supporting against Mendelsohn, and it was Jon Snow's year on Game of Thrones. It just looked like he had gotten his first nomination, and it looked like, oh my God, it's just give him the Emmy. And Mendelsohn ended up winning for. Well, you explain it, Joyce. It was.
Well, his character died in the first season of Bloodline, and then he was in the second season, but mostly, like in flashbacks, like as we jokingly like to say, the ghost of Ben Mendelsohn. But yeah, I think like everyone and their mother, because that was also the second year of the popular vote now, the new voting system. So we're just like, Jon Snow came back from the dead. This was like his year. He's going to win. And it was Ben Mendelsohn.
I think Peter Dinklage stole votes from him that year. I think if Kit Harington had been alone, Kit would have won.
I was predicting Peter Dinklage that year, but I was not predicting Ben Mendelsohn.
Nobody was. And his actual episode that he submitted, it was just a flashback kind of thing. And he was in it briefly, right? Where Harrington had, his episode was this bravura performance. I think it was the finale. It was quite spectacular. They were not watching the episodes, or at least they were not basing their votes on the episodes.
Well, there's too many episodes for him to watch now.
Now there are, yeah. And it was in the case of Mendelsohn, he didn't even show up that year.
He thought Gold Derby odds. He's like, I'm not going to bother.
I know. Well, that's actually one very strong possibility, because we know that has happened in the past where people have looked at the odds, nominees, and went, and all of a sudden, oops. Or the opposite in the case of poor Kit Harington. I think we helped inflate his confidence that he was going to win. And as we had heard, he'd flown many members of his family in from Ireland to be there with him for his victory that just didn't unfortunately come to pass. But I think Kit Harington has a lot to compensate in his career for the lack of that one Emmy. So I think it's a snub he can take. That said, your prediction, those of you watching this video and listening to the podcast version, your prediction matters too. Can you beat us? Are we right or wrong? Go to Gold Derby, make your predictions. It affects our racetrack odds. And you can beat the experts if you are smart enough. Question is, are you? Prove it.